Well, the human mind, consciousness, I think pretty soon, well, this is about two things actually. One, it's about when we develop AI to a certain level, where it's going to be able to feel, first thing it's going to be able to feel obviously is some kind of physical touch, right? Like this robot will say there's like a hot surface. It's, oh wow, my heat sensors or whatever are going off. Get off the surface. Kind of like a human being, automatically they have that, what's that called? They have that like ingrained sense of like if there's danger, like if something is hurting you on like your skin, like if a hot surface, you automatically move your hand. You don't like consciously think about it. It's on that level. So I think that's going to be the first thing they're going to do is, well, once the technology has happened, that has gotten to the point of this being possible, right? So that's going to happen. And then eventually they're going to program, however they're going to do it, whether they just clone they clone a human mind essentially, like exactly how it works, like every system except for now it's artificial. They're going to take a brain, they're going to copy it, like in a computer you copy and paste something. They're going to copy the exact structure and just make it artificial, right? I mean, it's possible. So they're going to do that, and then the great debate, the philosophers and scientists of the time, they'll probably be debating whether or not these things are actually, feeling, what do you want to call it, organisms? If they actually really feel the feeling or not, right? So like if an AI of the future, you copy and paste the brain the way it works, and you laser print it, or you 3D print it, or whatever they're going to do, you copy the mind. And they're going to be so adamant about saying that these feelings aren't real, that these artificial brain feelings of sadness or happiness or excitement or whatever, it's like, well, it's an artificial brain, so it's an artificial feeling, right? When there really is no difference. I mean, if you have a heart in a jar pumping your blood, or a heart outside of a jar, I mean, it's still a heart pumping blood, right? So, and that kind of got me thinking about, it basically just, God, this truck is so slow. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to turn. Got me thinking about kind of like invalidating someone's, oh my God, all right. Invalidating someone's thoughts because, and this is a real problem, I think, in society. So say someone's like depressed or they're angry or whatever, and this is why I'm so nervous about really labeling whether or not, I kind of feel like maybe I'm on the depressed spectrum or whatever. I'm an anxious person. I've had Valium before, but at the same time, I don't want to invalidate the things I'm saying by saying like, man, I'm depressed. Technically not depressed, never diagnosed, right? But then you realize, if somebody angrily says, like, 2 + 2 is 4, and they're like pissed, they're angry, it doesn't invalidate the fact that it is 4. I mean, they are right? So I think that's the same thing with, it's just kind of like an analogy, I guess, for basically the AI of the future. Whether or not they feel these feelings, which they will feel these feelings as real as we feel these feelings, which is going to be another like great debate, possibly. I think this has been a looming philosophic question for a while. Are we even really conscious? I mean, we're the set of systems that are working, and from the way I understand it, and the way the Buddhist monks understood it, is that we really are just kind of an observer out a window. Our body is just sort of doing what it does, moment to moment, based on these past experiences. I think Buddhism, maybe I got it all wrong, but from what I understand about Buddhism is that it actually goes hand in hand with determinism, this philosophic notion of just kind of cause and effect and determinism. How this set of systems comes together, my senses, my thoughts, everything, and from one page to the next, from one chapter to the next, I'm thinking, I'm making a decision, but really, it's all kind of automatic, like my decision making and me talking right now and me thinking something. You can think about it simply, did I create myself? Was I in some kind of God vacuum chamber in some sort of weird sci-fi God pod in the middle of the universe? It's like a video game, like create your character. Like, did I create myself? No. And that's another thing, like, do I choose my favorite color? Do I choose, like, if my favorite color is blue or red? No, it just is what it is. The universe really is what it is, and your body is doing what it's doing. It just is. That's the thing. The conglomeration of these systems of yourself all come together perfectly to make you feel so interconnected with what you're doing right now. They make you feel like you're actually in control of what's happening as opposed to the observer that you are. And now these questions are going to arise with the AI of the future of, well, it's all kind of like a looking glass for these artificial minds. It's like a heart in a jar. It's not a real heart, right? But it really is pumping blood, and the blood's like blood in a jar. It's not really flowing through your veins, but it really is. And you put a picture frame around something, or take the picture frame away, and it's the same picture, you know? And I think that's the big difference that's really the only difference between what an artificial mind is going to feel and what our mind is going to feel. I mean, I don't know, what is happiness? What is sadness? What are my plans? Do I plan my plans? Do I come up with my own plans? Well, I do, based on my past experiences, based on my current set of preferences, which I do not choose. I don't choose my favorite color. You know, let's say it's blue. It's not, whatever it is. Let's say it's blue. I don't choose blue, you know? Do I choose to get anxious in crowds? Do I choose to have some sort of disposition? Do I choose to like, this beer over that beer? Do I choose any of it? No, but how can you say I make choices? I don't choose any preference I have. I truly don't choose any preference I currently have right now. But then we trick ourselves into thinking that this plan I contrived is somehow the product of my free will, when it really is just my body automatically doing what it will do. I think to be an observer in this body, to look out the window of your body, that connection is important. And to feel that pain is important, to react to the pain and the pleasure of life. That does shape the way we think. So I don't think a human being really could be a human being without observing and feeling, but really the human being is just observing out their body. They're just the observer out the body. The body wouldn't work without the observer. The observer is basically the soul, as far as we can put it into words. And you don't want to tell the Catholics that, you don't want to tell the Christians that. The observer's the soul. The fact that I see and then I think, right? I think. But I just think. My body just thinks. And I see it think. I'm watching it think. And you could say, man, this guy's really disattached, right? He's got some kind of, I don't know what I don't know what that's called. Some kind of, I forget. It's like some kind of medical term. I promise I don't have it. I'm not diagnosed with anything. I don't have it. This is just the way it is. And these Buddhists fucking realized it. They realized that you're an observer. That's really it is. And then reincarnation is nothing. It's just a metaphor, right? It's a metaphor because you truly are not you. Like if I was you, I would be you. If I was you, I would be doing exactly what you're doing. I'd be doing exactly what you're thinking. If you switched our souls, if you switched the heart of hearts, the soul, the observation, the man looking out the window, which really is as deep as it goes. It really is. If you switched mine and yours, we wouldn't know the difference. You go, boop! You take the highest power in the universe. Take the most complex, powerful machine that shoots lasers across the universe in a matter of milliseconds. Take the highest power, times it by 100, snap your fingers, and say, I'm gonna switch my, observer with your observer, and literally no change takes place. That's the thing, because it's all integrated in itself. It's like these compartmentalized systems perfectly, together, working harmoniously, into almost tricking itself into thinking it's one whole thing. And it's a separate thing from everything else. That it's different from everything else. And that's reincarnation. You realize that you're here, but you're really not here. And I know that's the thing. The religious people, the soul. The soul is the observer. The body is the body. The soul is the observer out the body. And the body wouldn't work without it. It wouldn't. Once your soul disappears, once you stop observing, once you stop feeling in any way, shape, or form, your body's not going to work anymore. And that's it. And you switch those, woo! And that's what they're going to realize, man. I mean, when the AIs start developing feelings or whatever, we're going to realize how superficial we are, really. And I'm not trying to say that like it's a depressing thing or it's necessarily bad. I think it's enlightening, to be honest. But they're going to realize, oh man, there's really not much there that makes any of this, what can I do to confirm that when I step on your foot and you go ow, that you really meant it. You really meant ow. Because even for people, they don't really mean it. I mean, they do. I mean, that sounds like some kind of serial killer or something. They do. Like, trust me, if you, kick my kneecap, it's gonna hurt. But at the same time, there really is this, almost unexplainable disconnection from that as the observer to your body. Yes, you feel it. You feel it as much as something that was copy and pasted and reproduced. If I copy and pasted you and we made an AI you listening to this video and you hit them in the kneecap, I mean, that feeling's the same. And you gotta argue, yeah, we gotta make the systems good, right? I mean, if you make it so there's a little pressure pad on a surface and you push in on it, it goes red and it makes a loud noise. Is that pain? No. But if you really did copy a brain, I mean, you really tried real hard and reproduced a brain, who's to say that that's not real pain? Real pain is just some signal in your head. And this is nothing new. I mean, this has been the fucking Matrix, dude. The old 90s sci-fi goes through it. It's real obvious, honestly. It's real obvious to an actual thinker. It's real obvious that you have no control, really. But that's not meant to be a feudal kind of stance. It's not meant to say, see, that's the thing. Saying that isn't meant for you to just plop down in your bed and never do anything, right? I mean, your body's got to get up and go, and you just keep on looking out the window. I mean, nothing's gonna. You're just gonna starve to death if you just plop down oh, I have no control. Yeah, you're right. You don't have any control, and your body's gonna do what it does. But then, at the same time, knowing that oneness, kind of like the Buddhism sort of thing, kind of how you truly are the same as everything else. It really does kind of have equal standing as much as the tribalism that we live by as people. It really is kind of all equal. And that's really what that metaphor is all about, right? There's really no reincarnation. It's that you were never really here in the first place. That's what it is. You're reborn. You're constantly reborn. You're one thing and you're nothing. You're all part of it and you're also nothing at the same time. I mean, it's a cliche, dude. It's an indie rock band cliche. You're everything and you're nothing. You're God and you're shit. That's what you are as a human being. And that's what the AI is going to be. It really is. Once we develop it, it's going to be the exact same thing as us. And yeah, I guess you just go, it comes down to, you know, how you want to live your life. You know, you say like, well, what's it all matter? What's anything matter, right? Well, it matters because, I mean, almost like the Christian thing, like the eye for an eye or whatever, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. You realize everyone just sort of is you. Like, I mean, if you were them, they would be you. Really. I mean, it sounds dumb. It really does. It sounds stupid. Like, if you were them, then you'd be them. But it is true. If they were you, they would be doing the exact same thing you are. If you were me, you'd be talking in your car at whatever, 9 o'clock at night, recording this video. You would. You'd be doing this exact same thing. You'd be saying it the same way. And you realize everyone is you. And you might as well just treat everybody how you want to be treated. I mean, do you want a hard time? Do you want people to be there for you when you're struggling, you know? And I know that there's a whole nother subject. Some people get better, like, well, no one was there for me, so now it's cutthroat, it's dog eat dog. In a lot of ways, yeah, because people are so fallible. You know, it's the same thing with cops, and I've said this before. Like, in theory, I absolutely love, you know, the line between chaos and order. I do. But the fact that we are fallible, it's so easy to become corrupt by whatever power you're given. And it's so easy to minimize someone else's struggle or minimize what you think they might be thinking, their capacity. Because everybody doesn't share 100% of their thoughts 100% of the time. You don't think they're brilliant because you might be thinking this philosophic thought about like the puddle and the raindrops, and while the other guy smoking a cigarette's not commenting on it or not thinking that. But see, you don't know if he's thinking it, right? He could be thinking the same thing as you. That's why we think we're more brilliant than everyone else, is because we hear our own thoughts, really. And we come up, whoa, I had an observation about that. That makes me the main character, right? Well, that's another thing, man. What if one person in this whole world is the main character? Like, they're the real person and everyone else is just fake. What if I'm fake? What if this video is just for you? Isn't that empowering? What if this video is just created for you and I'm like an AI? I'm a side character in this video game that is your life. You're player one, there is no player two. And everyone's just a fake person. And as soon as they're out of earshot and eye shot and whatever, feel shot, then they're shot. They're nothing. You know? What if somebody leaves the room and they actually disappear? Right? I mean, you don't know. I could be your side character. Who knows? I wouldn't even know myself. You think the side characters know? I don't know what I'm talking about. Point is, everybody feels like they're the main character. And it's the same thing, you know, you're God and you're shit. You're everything and you're nothing. And at the same time, people are dumb as fuck, and they're also a lot smarter than you think they are. They're just smarter in the wrong ways sometimes, because I think they get corrupted by life. You know, things do kind of ruin people. Power kind of ruins people. And it's like a manager at a grocery store, you know. It's they think of these high schoolers or these 20s, and I was there before. I was there at a grocery store, working at a grocery store, and I swear, dude, the floor managers are such dicks. They were such pretentious dicks. All the while, they're not doing anything, right? They're not really doing any work. They're just going around hassling people. That's all they really do. I think the one guy thought it was funny. He would just go up to behind people. I'd be like stocking a shelf, like my shit existence. Like I'm stocking a shelf like a peasant. He'd come up behind you and go like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? How you doing? You're like, good, dude. I'm just stocking a shelf. Like I'm going to be doing this for like the next 6 hours. It really is. Like I kind of have to turn my mind off to some degree while I'm doing this to like maintain my sanity. Because yeah, it is. It's just like a dumb like job. You're just kind of just doing a monotonous thing for 6 hours. But they think like these people, they think of you as like this like idiot, like, oh man, this minimum wage like idiot stalking, I'm a manager. And it's like, you know, like, I turn into the fool in this job because, frankly, you're paying me like the fool. And second of all, it's 6 hours of monotony. You can't be like, you're like totally on all the time. Like, yes, I'm 100% aware of what's going on. I'm like a problem solver. All right, like, how are we gonna do this, team? Let's gather around, guys. Like, I'm a problem solver with how do we stock these shelves better? Like, you're just stocking a shelf. When you're just stocking a shelf, you zone out, you know? So, I don't know. It's one of those things, the thing you're doing, right? I mean, you adapt to the thing you're doing. You're water in a cup, you take the shape of a cup, right? I mean, it's easy to be like, it's easy to think someone's dumb when they're doing a dumb job. You can take a genius and give them some stupid ass job. Take fucking Einstein or whoever, whatever example of who you think is really brilliant. Have them shoveling shit. You know what I mean? Just watch them shoveling shit for 6 hours. You're just automatically, without a conscious thought, going to think lower of them just based on like the situation that they're in. And it's easy to get caught in these traps like that. It's called momentum, and this is real for anything, right? It's real for money, it's real for women. I've said it 1,000 times before. It's one of my, it rings true. Constantly I'm reaffirmed by this thought of momentum. And I don't know, is he just going? I don't know. Didn't used to be a stop sign there, but constantly reaffirmed with the momentum of life. And when you have money, it's easy to make money, man. And when you're a social person, it's easier to be social. It's easier to make friends. It's easier to get a girlfriend. It's easier to have sex. It's easier to do anything when you're a real social person. I have observed that. And yeah, momentum. I mean, that's a whole nother subject entirely. This could be I mean, I could probably split this up into multiple topics, but yeah, I don't know. It's all just it's a game to make ourselves feel better, right? Or themselves or whoever, right? It's tribalism. I'm saying ourselves, right? It is ourselves because we all do it, basically. We really all do it. I do it. I think I'm super brilliant. I do. And then someone else probably listens to me, wow, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, man. And that's how I think of you. I think of you as an idiot. If I don't resonate with you, see, that might be an ego thing. Maybe I'm a narcissist. But if I don't resonate with you, I think you're kind of dumb, honestly. I do. And that's a tribalism thing. It's my problem, right? It's everyone's problem. It's all our problems. Because if you or me, you'd think the same thing. And, yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you're not that person thinking their thoughts. There could be a rambling homeless person, and they really can say the exact same thing as some pretentious ivory tower, tea drinking, well-read, well-spoken man. You know what I mean? It's like, really, they can both people can make the same point, and frankly, I would argue, the bum can make the point more artistically and efficiently than the pretentious guy making a certain point, right? Because sometimes you got to have a little magic in your life, and that's what's unfortunate about this balance between art and efficiency in life, and I've observed this in a lot of things, right? So it's like you want to make a car better. Technically, at 100% car efficiency, there's going to be one car. If you want to make a car as efficient as possible, as a car could possibly be, there is one design we are working towards. If you want to make a basketball player as efficient as possible, there is one basketball player design, both physically and mentally. The way he plays, the way he moves, or she, or whatever. Probably a he, but then I'm sexist, because I'm a tribal cunt. But that's not the point. There's only one design that's absolute max efficiency. So there's this balance between kind of the mystery, right? The reading the bones of life, these the natives and the shamans and all this cool shit we used to do. I blow out smoke and then I move through it and I see the spirits and then I throw the bones on the table and I interpret the stars and the color of the sun. And like, there's all this art to that, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful performance. It's a dance. It's a painting. It's art. You know what I mean? What's efficiency about a paint? What's efficient about a painting? What's efficient about blowing smoke and going on a fucking spirit journey in the woods on some kind of whatever poison frog venom that you licked to get high off of? What's efficient about that? I mean, nothing, right? But then again, what's efficient about somebody who's well-spoken, who can't convince a 14-year-old something, who can't convince a 10-year-old, who can't make it make sense to a kid? If you can't make something make sense to a kid, you're not being efficient. And therefore, I say sometimes art can be efficient at conveying thought. So sometimes that rambling bum on the street who's fucking drunk off that moonshiner, that hillbilly without his front teeth, he says something about the fucking moths and the crickets and then passes out. Sometimes that's actually more efficient. But you do need to make the observation, and make the observation carefully, and be able to distinguish what times it's good to be, you know, that artsy dancing man, and what time it's good to just get miles per gallon in your fucking car. You don't always want to make a car dance around like a hula girl because, you know, because it looks cool, or because it's a cool color, or because you like the shape of it, even though it's not aerodynamic, and even though it's spitting a bunch of toxins everywhere in the air. And you don't always want to dance around every fucking time you do something. You want to do some math. You don't want to dance around the math. 2 + 2, yeah, that's 4. It's 4 every time. It doesn't matter how much dancing you do. So you really do need to be able, I think intelligence is also understanding the times to be serious and the times to just tell it how it is, or be efficient, or work hard, or whatever, what have you. But it's never one or the other all the time. But it's this dissonance and this disengagement with people when they observe someone else in a situation and they don't readily see them working in a way that's efficient, or that they deem as efficient, whether that be in some sort of poetic sense or some sort of mathematician sense. They can't read your thoughts, so they think they're better. They think they're more efficient than you. They think they're smarter than you. They think they're a better dancer, whatever it is. And somebody who maybe got trapped in some shit fucking job, really, they just kind of became complacent because they didn't know what else to do. And I get it all the time, man. I do. I'm saying this now, in my late 20s. Like, I constantly just pace around. Like, what do I do? What do I do? And I mean it on such a, like, deep nautical, under the ocean, at the bottom of the ocean level. Like, and people will answer me. Sometimes someone will answer me like, what do you mean, what do you do? Like, do this. And it's like, I don't mean it on that level. I don't. I mean it on this, like, indescribable, like, deep in my soul level. Like, what do I do right now? Sorry, I was crossing the street. I thought a car was gonna hit me. And yeah, it's easy to kind of, like, as almost a defense mechanism, like, and this is my observation with, like, working a shitty job, really, and it kind of goes hand in hand with everything. It all just sort of interrelates, right? I mean, it's such a philosophic cop-out that it's all just interconnected and all interrelates, but it really does. And all these things, they really do resemble each other. Everything in the universe takes kind of the same basic shape and acts sort of the same way. So, I mean, yeah, okay, I get into a position and I become complacent because, right, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, and I think I'm so brilliant, but apparently I'm not brilliant, right? Because I can't make a goddamn dime. And I become complacent in my whatever bullshit middle-class job, whatever 9 to 5, whatever, like, desk jockey, whatever, like, I'm a manager at a grocery store, whatever you do. And it's so easy to think of someone else as, like, an idiot. It is. It's so easy because it's like a defense mechanism for you. just to feel better about your choices. When in reality, you're just so fucking jealous that kid, he might become you. That 19-year-old stocking shelves for 6 hours on end, turning his fucking brain off, thinking about getting high on the weekend or whatever they're planning on doing, joking around with his friends, still having a fun time. It's easy to think, well, this kid's an idiot, when really, the kid just doesn't give a shit about the job. He's not getting paid enough to give a shit. And I mean, we're all well aware of that, and then we forget it because we become more egocentric as we get older. That's a whole other video, youth. Youth is a whole, the kids, man, they're egoless, basically. You talk to a kid will go, oh, mommy, why are they fat? They have a mole on their face. Why do you have a mole on your face? Does that bother you? Why is that mole? That's how kids act. And they say it pretty non-judgmentally. They really do. That's the thing. And our egos become calcified as we get older. It becomes more and more of this barrier between our true selves and the world around us. And it's not really a good thing for our happiness. It's really not. And I barely understand what the point is, honestly. It's just corruption. It's like general life corruption. There's some sort of fucking toxin in the air, right? Some sort of demon toxin. I'm not religious, but I mean, even kids, look at kids 17, 18, 19, 20. I admire youth, I really do. And I went to college late. I loved being around a bunch of 20-year-olds. I did. Not to sound like a weirdo, I loved it. Just even kids in class joking around. I mean, you get like an asshole once in a while, right? You get some like fucking like dick measuring like cunt once in a while. Like, oh, I'm tougher than you. Like you get that fucking insecure douche once in a while, right? And sometimes kids are a little more vocal about it, but then you also get just like the funny joking around like that somehow like adults just kind of forgot how to do, I remember in class some kid, it was just like a dumb, funny like joke. It was just stupid. Like kids just make fun of things. Like you start as a kid, you just question everything. Oh, why is it fat? What about that mole? What's that thing on your face? Why does that guy not have a leg? They're being really non-judgmental. And at the same time, it's very similar when somebody like, in their early 20s or their late teens, they're just kind of like making fun of something or whatever. It's really not that. Like there's a point where it becomes, bad. It becomes dangerous when somebody's like bullying someone else. But this kid basically, this is just an example. This guy, I was in a wine class and the teacher or whatever, he's like, you can see like there's particles in the wine, or if you put like a light to it, you see like whatever it is, like the fucking seeing through it tells you something about the wine or whatever, like how thick it is or whatever. And this kid's like, oh my God, like he puts the light up to it. It's like pretty funny. And it was pretty innocent at the same time, but it's like, you don't see adults acting like that. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing for people to like joke around about life, honestly. It really kind of keeps you alive. It does. As opposed to this where we just become more and more calcified as we get older. And I've realized that I'm not going to name who this is, but one of the funniest people, one of the funniest women that I've known. And I generally don't think women are funny. And that's just me. It's my opinion. I'm not like a MGTOW guy or anything. I just generally don't find women funny. I just don't think they're funny. But I gotta say, this person was, and I looked up to her too. And she was funny as hell. In her early mid-20s, very funny observations. And you realize about comedy too, it usually is pretty simple. It's not like like stupid idiot simple, but it's like, I always said that about like some of the best humor that I've ever experienced in life was like, it was like brilliantly stupid. Like it was like genius stupid. Like it was such a simple observation, but like put in like a comedic, like exaggerated way, or however you want to spin that simple observation to, make it absurd and comical, whatever it is. And I guess I don't really know, because we don't talk much anymore, but I noticed over the years, this person kind of got less and less funny. And I've noticed even in myself, I'll admit, I got less and less funny. I thought I used to be funnier. I know everybody thinks of themselves, wow, I was so funny, right? I'm such a funny guy. And sometimes it's just kind of cringy. Like, they're not that funny. But I'll modestly say I was like mid-level funny. I would make funny observations sometimes. I'd make my friends laugh, whatever. And once in a while I do. But it does slow down. It slows down when you get older. It does. You just become more like dead inside. I don't know what it is. So, yeah, I guess I'll end the video there. A lot of shit. A lot of rambling shit. I don't even know how to title it. I don't know how to comment on the video, anything. Let's just say this is an art piece. This is an art piece. And take for what you want out of it. I'm so sick of just being filtered, honestly. That's another huge problem that really wasn't as bad back in the day. I hate to be that guy. That's how you know I'm getting old, too. Back in the day, oh man, 91. You know what I mean? 29. But honestly, I'm thinking like that more and more. It's just like, people have become so filtered now. It's pretty bad, honestly. I don't know how we get out. I don't think we do. I don't know how to get out of it, other than just trying to be consciously aware of it. And it really is. There's a lot of friction with some people. If you just try to be kind of unfiltered with some people, and it's like, dude, as long as you don't mean like any genuine offense to something, just be yourself. Honestly, just be yourself. Frankly, you don't have any choice in that anyway. You're always going to be yourself, but just try to be the most genuine you can be. That's some good advice. Don't try to placate other people, but there's a point where, like, again, there's like, you're just a social idiot, and then there's like placating and being like a pandering, passive fucking pussy, I think there's a difference between never being agreeable and always giving your exact opinion, like, I think that is fucking stupid and I do not want to do that, and I think you're stupid for wanting to do that. I think there's a point where, like, you're a social idiot if you're always, like, honest. See, I call myself a liar, right? I'm the biggest liar in the universe. I'm lying all the time, right? I'm always kind of tweaking shit the way I say things, right? Really, and that's another, just exactly how I'm describing like a managerial position, or like people talking down to kids or whatever. Sometimes I talk to people like they just can't handle the fucking truth, man, Like, hey, do you like this thing that I'm into? And it's like, man, I don't have the heart to say I didn't like it. I really don't. They're like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, I'm not gonna go like say it's a movie. Like, I'll be like, I'm not gonna go buy it, but like, yeah, it was all right. Even though I thought it was stupid, I think I do respect a certain level of, fakeness, to be honest. A certain level of fakeness is fucking realness, right? It's like choosing when to dance and when to be, that goddamn, like, laser-focused Tonka truck scientist. It's the art of being social, which is a dance, right? I mean, you want to be an artist. Learn to fucking dance. Learn the dances of life, man. Learn poetry. Learn the poetry of speaking. Learn the poetry of storytelling, of convincing somebody something. And God forbid you're a fucking bad leader in whatever group you're in, because that will corrupt your bubble. Anyway, here's a 40-minute video about nothing.